Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and I'm back with my gal pal posse. I missed you guys so much.
It feels so good to be reunited.
I was gonna say I missed you guys so much. And I do. I want to say because you know what, that actually kind of goes for me to this card because it's the 3. This is a 3. It's from the Rumi deck. Anyway, I had to say that to you two at least. So
love that.
Yay! I'm with BZ Rieger and Lisa Flamino Rush. And actually, BZ said, "Hey, let's get together and play with some of these things since some of the things have been taking place." And, you know, everybody that follows this channel at all knows that we do follow the things in the global arena. Not as much as we're paying attention to the internal, but I still dip my toe in and pay attention to what's going on out there because it's all a metaphor for everything else. Right. But now, correct me if I got this wrong, BZ. We're going to talk about a sense of the depth and breadth of the trafficking that is coming out, that it's being revealed, that is being, you know,
unveiled.
And I have to say this because back when we were in Knoxville, the very first time, the very first week of that alleged hilarity that went on over there, and Lisa was present, although sleeping. I had that conversation with Danny, remember? Lunacy. That actually didn't get fully recorded and we didn't get to put out on the air. Yeah. When the two of us said, how do you tell or inform an entire planet of humans of what has been going on for eons? And that's kind of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is, again, what we're talking about here. That took just what I saw back then, which has been over a year ago now. Right, a year and a half, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt the enormity of what was going to have to, or what will be coming out. And this feels like that thread. It's more than a thread now, but you know, it's the one. It really is. Besides the. Although I think the banking is going to come very close behind all of this.
And it'll trump this.
Well, yes, but I mean, there's one thing sure to get everybody's attention, and it's this.
Yeah,
it's what's starting to come out now.
Yes.
And once everybody gets a sense of the depth and the breadth of the trafficking, and you know,
it's the trafficking, yeah.
Because it's way, and we kind of were talking about this a little bit before, BZ and I, you know, before we turned the camera on, and I said to BZ and Lisa, I knew when Trump signed Executive Order 13818, the executive order regarding human trafficking and slavery. I knew then that it was big, and I thought.
And corruption, yeah. Human trafficking, slavery, and corruption, yep.
Right, and I really thought I had a sense of what that all meant, right?
Yeah.
Well, and one of the tip-offs on that would be that executive order, you know, people thought, they'd hoped that it was covering, you know, the bad guys, and then there was some confusion, disappointment that maybe it wasn't. But actually, that is covering every being on the planet. Because he addresses every being on the planet in the 3 levels of directly, indirectly, and complicit in.
Right.
Well, if you haven't gotten the memo yet, every being on the planet is complicit in. And that's how you unwind and unbind all of this, because it's not a linear thing. It's not a U.S. thing. It's not a Democrat Republican thing. It's not a DOJ thing. It's the whole enchilada thing, the whole trafficking thing. That, it's another conversation that we'll have. It's the storm within and without thing.
Right. Well, what I said to you before, though, was that I thought when that was done that I understood that I understood the trafficking. I understood it from a specific sort of level, and I don't know. I'm the language is going to fail me here because this is more than linear for me. There's been a lot of research done by a lot of great researchers out there that understand about the trafficking of DNA and body parts and all of these different things, right? And I counted myself in amongst those researchers, because what I didn't research myself, I damn sure listened to what they had to say and then go and take a look at their research and that sort of thing. So I count myself in on that level of grokking what we're talking about here then, right? That's been more than a year and a half ago. And I'm grokking it on a much more expanded level now. And I don't know how to explain what I mean by that.
Well, a simplistic way to describe it is that if you were to look at and perhaps describe what you think of reality is, and how this planet works and the system and all that kind of stuff, that is the supply chain for the trafficking. All-inclusive, everything.
Because it touches everything, by the way.
Well, not only that, but everything is there as a design for the supply chain, for the transfer of goods, for the taking of raw materials, which is the being, not just the human being, but the being. So all of the energetic, all of the things, because human being is just from the purely linear level, and there is some value and stuff in that, but you have to go to the actual multidimensional level, standing right on the planet in a tangible way to get at what the value is. So anyways, all of the things, school, everything, every system, every structure, you and I have talked a lot about, Sheila, in particular, that, systems aren't broken. They're working perfectly. They've always been designed. So what I'm saying is every system, whether it's schooling, education, politics, medical, anything, all of that has been designed and is part of the supply chain, part of the product procurement, part of the marketing, part of the value-added product production, and the different lines that you have, starting with the raw material, which is, the being, all the way through. That's the why and how and for what the whole system was designed for. The whole system, what you call reality.
Right. And I know that's a lot of even at when, that's what I'm saying. I didn't quite really grok what you're saying right now. I mean, I thought I did. Okay. I thought I grokked what you're saying right there. I did. I thought I did. I thought I got it.
Come on back.
Oh no.
Okay. I didn't grok what you were saying. I am now. Keep going.
I thought that I had grokked what you were saying way back then, but I now know that I didn't get it then. But I am much more attuned to what you're speaking on here, because it isn't just It's not just the physical.
Well, nobody's liking what we're speaking on here because we keep freezing. Let's go. Let's keep trying.
Okay. Well, for me, I don't think I got it until, and I may not fully have it now even, but I know that I have a better grasp on what it is you are actually speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
It is more than a physical thing. It is more than a linear thing, and it touches every single thing in the reality.
Yes.
It's a multidimensional thing.
Yes.
And you have to take the multidimensional part of it to truly rock it.
Yes. Yes. And that's where all the trafficking is entailed in. Yes.
Well, and I think part of the reason I'm saying that is you can tell folks about this trafficking thing, and I'm telling you because this is what I thought. It's happening to someone over there. Right. It ain't happening in my house, so okay, I'm safe. But that's not so.
Right. We're safe and free over here.
Right? But that's not at all the case. And I mean, right. And to really grok the fact that every single thing that we have thought of as the way of life, all the systems,
yes, that one too. And that one too. Yep, that one too. Yep, that one too. Uh-huh, that one too. Yep, that one too.
Yep.
Which is why it's so important everybody stay scared as shit and do your job and only your job.
Right.
I can't.
And why you go, I mean, you know, everything is involved. So I don't remember if I said this on camera or off camera, but, you know, so we'll tick a few off. Education, schooling, hospitalization, healthcare, childcare, foundations, rescues, reliefs, orphanages, you know, all the whole range, movie theaters, cruise lines, train lines, airlines, Justice Department, banks, all that kind of stuff. And the other thing is that they're all part of the infrastructure. They're all part of the supply chain for the trafficking. Yeah. Now, there are different product lines. There are different distribution lines.
And if you don't mind, BZ, I want to stop you right there because I just heard somebody say, what is BZ talking about different? Okay, so the different product lines that I think you're referring to, or at least this is the way I'm taking it, there's the human trafficking, there's the intellectual property trafficking, there's your energy trafficking, there's anything and everything you can think of. That's why you're calling this the trafficking. And all of those product lines, they are product lines. There's a human product line, and you might not think that you're being trafficked, but if you are seeing a doctor, you are being trafficked. Yes. If you have a driver's license, you are being trafficked. If you have a birth certificate, you are being trafficked.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, you know, the product line, supply chain. And so you can have something where you have, so let's talk in a more common thing that people know about. So if you're, okay, this comes to mind. If you're a farmer, right, or you're a gardener, market gardener, and you want to, hey, you see the farmers markets and you'd like to go sell at the farmers market. Yeah. So you have some cucumbers, and they're really delicious variety of cucumbers. So you can sell, you pick the cucumber and you bring it and put a nice basket and you decide how you're going to buy the pound, buy the piece, how you're going to sell them. You might have some samples and taste it, right? So that's your product. And then you have different ways to offer the product because it comes in different shapes and sizes, a pound of them or one piece tasting. Now you're making pickles, now you're making relish. So those are value added products. So you understand what I'm saying? You're taking the cucumber and you're using it in all these different ways. And then you may branch out to maybe it's a multiple of farmers markets, and you have some employees who are now getting into the inner city one or outside of town or whatever it is. Those are your supply chains, right? So that's just with one cucumber. So now you have the product which is a being, more than just a human, but a being, because it's multidimensional. So now you've actually the raw material and all the things that you can make from, do from, value-added product from, right? Derive you as the person who's organized this whole, the group of beings who've organized this whole thing, can then have a profitable business, have a tremendous value benefited to them and to those they bestow it upon from this, right? And so there's no difference between the cucumber and the being in this sense, except that there's, well, I know a lot about the benefits of a cucumber, but there's more with it. I know the benefits of the being. So if you have jam, okay, if you have fruit, strawberries, right? So strawberries you can sell just in the pint, you can turn into jam, you can turn into all sorts of things, right? So those are the different ways that you can take the one raw material and you can move it. And it's trafficking because it's being trafficked, it's moved through, it's going through different chains. And we in the languaging have trafficking because it's a derogatory term. It's it's on the cusp of illegal, but we never think of it that way because, hey, we're all complicit and we're so kind of entrenched, engrossed, indoctrinated, right, in all of this that it's the way of life.
Right. That's not trafficking. I'm just doing my job kind of thing. I'm not trafficking. Right. Just doing my job, doing what I was told, and this is the way, that I'm
now. And so it's this. So just for a moment to get into a finer point. So someone could say, well, they got, and amazing to me that they do, but even with Epstein, well, the girls got paid for sex. They were just they got paid for it. So it's not trafficking. No. Because you could say, well, you got paid to go to your 9 to 5. Yes. But you also entered into agreement that you didn't know was an agreement, you didn't know was a contract, that you didn't know was a system set up as purported to be one thing, which is something wholly different, and you have been funneled into, shunted into, trafficked into these different things.
Well, I for some reason the term human resources comes to mind. I know it's a very 3D linear thing, but it is absolutely so. And that's why I said, it's just because it's something that we've always done, and it's been normalized.
Right.
And it's something we thought was the way.
Well, right. And so you can give a good example of as the different moves get brought to bear, it has to be new things, quote unquote, supposedly new things have to be normalized and go, well, look at all the rules and regulations that are either on the books or trying to be put through the books, or the current Congress, what they're about pedophilia and everything else.
Yeah.
So that's again part you can if you look and connect and are present with and notice, you can see all of this everywhere. It's like something was hidden and all of a sudden you can see it all.
Well, there's two things that came to mind for me just then with what you said. The energetic of, first of all, I believe David Icke calls that the totalitarian tiptoe. partly. And the other thing, the first thing that came to mind for me was, well, you know, if you try to put, well, you could do it with lobsters or frogs or whatever into boiling water, they pretty much will want to jump out right away. But if you put them in cold water and turn the heat on and let it go slowly, nobody really notices. And that's pretty much why I feel like what we've got going on, everybody thinking, well, that's just the way this is, you know, the system might be broken and maybe we need to fix it. But and it's all the very same thing there for me.
Yes. Well, the thinking, which is actually not thinking, is part of it. It's, you know, you used to have the feudal systems and the overlords and or warlords, depending on what part of the world that you were in, and that was an overt system of the trafficking. But beings such as we are multidimensional and are want to go through expansion and have heart openings and have more consciousness come online and come in. You tend to get, you know, restless natives with that, and so you have to go underground with your stuff. So instead of, you know, a big horse and lots of armor and a you know, pointy thing, you throw on a business suit and a tie. You still got them collared, you still got them yoked, right? Or
Right.
you know, or if it's a female in the business world, you know, same kind of thing. You just use different metaphors for the apparel, but that's what's going on. And so you see it as progress and change and all these kinds of things. And no, it's really not. All it is trying to keep up with the awakening that's happening.
Right.
And then you have a bunch of pesky, you know, and in some levels it might seem like just one here and there, and then there's a couple hundred here and there, and then look at the whole planet in totality, and you got, you know, a couple thousand or a couple million. These pesky beings who, regardless of the price that they will pay, they have said, enough. I'm waking up, and I don't care if my family thinks I'm a crackpot or nuts, or I don't care. It doesn't matter, because I know what I'm here to do. And I'll do my best to not only survive all the things that you'll throw at me, and the labels change throughout the centuries, right?
Yeah.
But it's still the same thing. The trouble is that those pesky ones kept telling other pesky ones, and then there was more pesky ones, and we got a whole bunch of pesky ones all over the place. And now the energy and the blooming of the light is such that the pesky ones actually are the enlightened ones, and they control, because of the bandwidth and the frequency and the amplification of their frequency, is the controlling energy of and steering of the energy frequencies of the planet.
Yeah, they now influence.
Well, yes, they influence, and they also actually steer.
Yeah.
The rest hasn't been, you know, scraped totally off the board, so you've still got skirmishes and stuff. But yeah.
No, I feel that. I really feel like there's been a whole, for longer than any of the three of us have been alive, there's been a whole bunch of templates set.
Yeah.
Maybe in just one little tiny corner over, you know, just one or two people at first, whatever.
Yeah.
But they were templates, and the way that I now see too that, you know, BZ has shared with us in regards to it's not
You're
happening.
paused again.
Oh no! Did you say I'm stuck again? Hello? Hello? No? Are we frozen, BZ? Maybe, well, on my end, it's BZ that's frozen. You too? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, BZ, I'm going to crack on because on my end, you are frozen, not me. And, oh crap, now what was I saying, Lisa? Can you help me?
Of course not. I'm so sorry. I got so distracted.
Oh no, me too, because I thought she couldn't hear me. Oh well, that's
Yeah.
okay. It'll come back if it was meant to. Oh yes, I remember, because of the templates. There's
Yes.
the template set now, and there's, that, because it's not a vacuum. We are all one. Ah, see, it was her.
Yeah.
It was her.
It
She'll be
was,
back.
yes.
She'll be back.
Crack on, lady. We're
I intend to crack
templates
on.
all over the place.
Especially now that I remember.
Yeah.
But no, because of all these different templates that have been set, because we are all one, and
Right.
just viewing things from different angles. The minute a template gets set, it's available to everybody and anybody else.
Right. Exactly.
I'm always reminded too about that. I go back to that quote. I think it was I can't remember if it was Michael Jackson that said it about Prince, or Prince said it about Michael Jackson. I think it was Prince, wasn't it? Prince said it about Michael Jackson. That if he didn't get up at whatever time of morning an inspiration for a song hit and write it down, that Michael Jackson would get it. Wasn't that Prince?
Yeah, it was either that way or the other way. I can't recall either.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I think Michael might have said it about Prince even.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, well, I know it's one way or the other.
Yeah.
But and for me, it kind of goes back to the whole thing that it's not a vacuum. It's all,
Right. It's up for grabs.
right. So so that's what.
And the more of us participating in the templates, that's the influence I'm talking about. It creates a magnetic pull. And kind of like for years, the cabal had that magnetic pull, if you will. They had the deep grooves and they had momentum on their side, to the point where we were complicit in all of the trafficking and had no idea.
Right. Well, and like I said, okay, so even for myself, we're still complicit, every one of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I was drinking this kombucha right here, and just the very act, because I purchased this in a store, in a glass I purchased in a store, and
Right.
Every single thing we do is all complicit because of the whole system that was set up to capture. That's what that means, by the way, for me. Now I get it, about how they are siphoning off the energy. It's not just the banking. It's not just.
Right. It's your whole being.
Mm-hmm.
In every aspect, since the moment you were born and come into this world, and they cut your cord.
I know,
which is
right?
the first trauma.
Yes, absolutely. And the trafficking began.
And because I remember they took that placenta when I had Jasmine. I signed papers. I just wasn't awake to what I was doing, and it's in hindsight that I understood what happened. And I was offended that I participated. But actually, it was by divine design. When I opened the aperture far enough, then it all makes sense. But yes, the complicity was required. It was important. It was part of what made the whole thing work.
Right.
It couldn't have worked without my support.
Well, I think I don't know if I put this out or not, because I know I did a musing about it, but I've been doing some recording and not putting it out because, well, just because. And I was saying that our multidimension, once I really grasped our multidimensionality and the fact that everything our little linear brains think is, linear, is actually happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
That is what true multidimensionality actually is.
Yeah.
It's easy at that point. It became easier for me at that point to see this trafficking for what it is, in the way that the system was designed to capture all of that.
Yes.
From every single angle and aspect, from the programming that we allowed. Oh, she must not be able to get back in. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. It says meeting has unexpected error. Oh man, I wonder if I'm still recording.
Yeah.
So.
Invite her to retry.
And it says error code 5003. I'm going to tell her I look like I'm recording. Okay, well, okay. We're going to end this video here and see if it actually
we'll work through our technical issues and see if we can have another brief conversation.
And she says it won't let her in because the meeting room isn't there. So we'll see.
Well, I do believe it's here, but we'll
I know, right?
Investigate further, find out where here is after all.
And whether or not here actually got recorded. Hey, won't it be cool if we find out, yes, it did, and our stuff came in just perfectly fine?
It feels like it's going off without a hitch.
I know, it does. Okay, so stay right there. We'll be back.
Stay tuned, to be continued.
Oh,
Much
my.
love.